Police are on high alert at the Free State University in Bloemfontein as student protests protest the abolition of provisional registration for 2026. Students say they discovered the change in a university newsletter in September and argue that it could marginalize financially disadvantaged students who may not afford registration as yet. Nqobile Madlala is at the scene and joins us now. Just last week, the scenes were very violent, in fact. Nqobile, what's the latest do we have from the scene now?
Okay, so Arabile, where we are standing, we've just seen 2 vans of SAPS going inside. There's traffic cops that are also inside. There's also security that is making sure that no one comes in those gates. This is basically UFS, and all students, you'll see all cars are being asked to turn. So basically, the campus has been shut down. But the issue here is that the UFS is saying that they are abolishing that provisional registration. What does this mean? It means that any student who has a debt cannot register next year, especially if their debt is more than 30,000 rand. And this is where the student politics comes in, because they've been fighting this, mainly because there's a lot of students that will be affected. But first of all, which students would be affected and why?
No, thank you so much. The students that are mostly to be affected by this are the students that are using NSFAS and the marginalized students that are depending on NSFAS. Mind you now, NSFAS doesn't clear anyone during the time of registration. People get cleared maybe later after the registrations. Now, if it means now that you are not cleared before the registration and then you are cleared after the registration, that would mean that now you have the whole year compromised. Now we'll have to go back home. And if ever you look at the number of the people that use NSFAS, it's almost 80% of the students that are relying on NSFAS, and mostly those are black students. So that is where we are standing with this thing.
And of course, as you talk about the fact that there's a lot of disadvantaged students, what do you then want the university to do?
We want the abolishment of the cancellation of provisional registration. We want all students to register despite if they have a debt or not. This is what we want. And we also want to condemn the Minister of Education, Butimana, for lying on a public platform. Our students were not arrested because they were not arrested for murder, for attempted murder. Our students have nothing to do with this. The university is on a spree of arresting our students. 6 are appearing today in the morning at the Bloemfontein Magistrate Court, and from here on we're going there. We want the management of the University of Free State to take us serious as black students, because we see they want to be pro-white, and we are totally against that as students activists.
Of course, we are still going to try and get those details from the university. There's a big allegations you're talking about. But now we know that students also are currently not going to class. This is going to affect the syllabus. You're one of those students that are not in class today. What happens now?
The campus is shut down up until Klopas. Our dean tells us that provincial registration has been cancelled. So far, so good. We are not going to attend this school. We have been united as black students to say that there's no school that's going to go on up until the dean, like I said, says the provincial is cancelled. If she doesn't change her decision by this week, it means maybe our exams will be extended to December, because there's no way we are going to allow her to be pro-white like that, because now what is happening in this campus is it's racism and on the highest level. As we speak now, on Thursday night, the UFC itself called AfriForum for the year students, and then the AfriForum as well as the police shot students who were raising their hands to show that they don't mean no violence. But now we were shot. As we speak, we have approximately 22 students who have been arrested so far. Submit.
22 students that have been arrested. This is obviously a concern. This could affect their future.
This is totally going to affect their future, and now I don't think they care about the future of a black student, basically. Because now in this protest we don't see any white student, because now the white students are not being affected with this issue. Now it's going to affect them, because now the casualties always have to be dealt by the black person.
And I understand that you're saying this could be potentially a racial issue, but is it not rather a matter of someone who can afford and someone who can't?
It is absolutely like that. Now tell me, my sister, How are my parents going to afford 30,000 registrations, whereas they earn 6,000 each? How is that possible? This is the systematic exclusion of black students from entering this campus. This campus was proudly built by black people. Now, the university is trying to exclude us from entering this campus. We want to condemn the vice-chancellor from what she's doing. She did it at Stellenbosch, and we want to tell her straightly to her face that this is not Stellenbosch. We will fight for our rights of education. This generation will fight for the next generation, same as the generation of Fees Must Fall did their part. This is our time to do our part as black students.
And once you do your part, what is then the option going forward? Because it's been closed, students are not here, exams are around the corner, you have to do activities, and others are arrested. What is the way forward now?
The way forward now is to say, as students, we mobilize, we stay united like we always do, and make sure that we do not write any exams, we do not sleep, we do not eat if it's a must, because now we do not have money. Like my leader here said, we are being oppressed like our forefathers have been oppressed before. This is a systematic thing to say the black child is not supposed to be on this campus. So us as student leaders, we are saying the way forward is to stand our ground. Even if we are get arrested in masses, even if it ruins our futures, we are not doing this for us, but we are doing this for the next generations. We are doing this for the first years that are to come next year, because like my leader said, if I am using NSFAS, it definitely means I come from a previously disadvantaged background. That means I'm a black child who does not have enough resources to cater for my educational needs. So for us, we are fighting for the right to free education, and we are going to stand our ground and make sure that the dean takes out that thing of provincial registration.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. So these are some of the student activists, but also in part of student politics. But Nqobile, what they are expressing, they're very concerning. Some of them coming from families that have high unemployment, others depending on grants. So they're saying that they cannot afford the 30,000 rand that is expected for them to have that amount. They say the registration is going to be too high for them, but what they need is for the university to allow them to register, allow them to be on campus in 2026. So the fight is not just now, it's for 2026, so that they are able to come on campus, they're able to study. Should NSFAS not pay on time? And they're saying, NSFAS would be still paying between October and November. So if they don't pay on time, they can sign the acknowledgement of debt, saying that NSFAS will continue to pay. But if that does not happen and they have this debt and they're not allowed to have provincial registration, this will affect them, and they come from disadvantaged homes. That's what they're concerned about.